Um, all right. Hi, my name is Liz Skarzat, and I'm here from City Plants, and I'm here to introduce two wonderful ladies, Miranda Hutten and Pat Winter, and we're going to be talking about the LA Urban Center. And essentially, the LA Urban Center is a really great collaborative that was started in 2014, and before Miranda and Pat came on the scene, it was an organization with a whole lot of partners and not a lot of leaders. And so yesterday, when we were talking about the Urban Waters Collaborative, it was mentioned, Pauline mentioned that everyone needs a quarterback. And to me, Miranda is our quarterback. So she really came in, when she came in about 2 years ago, she came in and she made people start going in the same direction. And that is a really, truly valuable service to provide to everyone. And if I knew more about football, I would probably come up with some other position for Pat. But what I will say, and somebody let me know if there's a football reference here, she's our guide. So in public policy in the tree world, we're used to getting our hands dirty. We're used to running around and trying to talk to policymakers in the simplest terms possible. And research is a whole other animal. It is deep. It is very technical, and to me, it is an untamed wilderness. And Pat is our guide to that world, and she really sits down and explains what's going on and what makes sense to do, and tells us where to go. So, and then Miranda comes in and moves everybody in that direction. So, so today we are going to be talking about what's going to happen in the next year, and this is going to be highly interactive. But basically, we're going to prioritize research. And one of the things that we talk to our nonprofit partners about in City Plants is if you don't prioritize it, somebody else will. So make your opinion known. This is your chance. Second, we're going to talk about leveraging capacity because we can't do anything alone. We all have to do things together. And then third is how do we deliver that information to people who can actually make a change? And with that, take it away.
You can just go up front here.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for sticking around. The few, the proud, the ones that need CEU credits. So seriously, though, we actually asked to be at the end of this whole conference because we felt it was really important to have the different sessions to key you up for this particular type of discussion, which is where we look to prioritize and look into the future. So for those that were a little tired this evening, yesterday evening, let me recap what the LA Urban Center is. It's a partnership between the U.S. Forest Service and the City of LA, particularly City Plants, to deliver information and studies and communicate those studies on social ecological systems and our urban natural resources. We do this to inform our decision makers and our policy makers to make a more sustainable LA. So each year, we look to our strategic plan, we look to our partners in various sessions and forums to help prioritize that work. And hopefully, when I gave you that teaser, you can see that we do listen and we are doing quite a lot of different things. And we're excited about new and added capacity that we're going to move forward in different directions. One such thing, as I mentioned, we have Chris Fabro here, who is acting as our detailer for the coordinator LA Urban position. He's going to be the wheeler and dealer behind the scenes, and we're excited to have him here as that coordinator, as that quarterback. Second of all, we actually have a physical location where people can come, meet, and work with us. And it's really not that far away. In fact, it's on the other side of the Kiosko area. And I meant to mention that last night. If anybody's interested to know, it's in that white building right across the way, and that's where we're going to be physically present there 5 days a week, and also doing public outreach and urban forestry activities. And I think Pat has some other updates she wanted to let you know about.
Sure. So we have a few things that have just queued up to add to our presence at the LA Urban Center. We have our intern through Mobilize Green with the Southern California Consortium. Many of you may have met her on Tuesday and Wednesday, Renisha Holden. She's not with us today because she's in Texas preparing to walk for her master's degree from Texas A&M, so we're very proud of that. In addition, we'll have some researchers coming in from Loyola Marymount University. They'll first focus in on getting some feedback from you on presenting results in a form that you can use from stewardship mapping that was done in the city of Los Angeles. And then Dr. Michelle Romolini, who led that project effort, will be coming in and helping to transfer that information, as well as aiding us in formulation of additional work related to socio-ecological processes and research over time. And then finally, we are just so thrilled to let you know that we are currently in the outreach phase of a process of hiring a research social scientist who will be stationed at our LA
It's a big
Center.
deal.
Joshua Wilson, our new program manager, will be coordinating that hiring effort. And I have copies of our outreach announcement. If you didn't get it through our many emails, we have them here for you. Please feel free to pick one up. We're definitely looking for someone who's very strong in social science, as well as connecting up that ecological systems piece. So focusing in on socio-ecological resilience would be key to understanding what that position will be about. And all of that together is helping just to position us to move forward on what we're hoping to gather from you now during this discussion.
So,
right there.
the best part about this is we're going to get up and walk around, but not yet. So, I've put some topics up here on the PowerPoint. They really should look familiar because they're hitting some of the key topics we've talked here in the last couple of days, as well as those that are familiar with the LA Urban Center. They also highlight the key strategic areas of our strategic plan. Climate change, urban waters, green infrastructure, forest health, environmental justice, human health, and the science of science delivery. This little chalkboard area is repeated, as I said yesterday, all along the back, and they're broken out by topic area. We want your thoughts on these topic areas because we think if you had them at the conference, they are important to you and want to know more about what of these topics are a prioritization for you. So we've had information on rapid response and human health. What are the key areas coming out of this meeting, also in the work that you do day to day, that are important for us to focus in on in this next year for our research for request proposals, which are our big funding items for making sure there's research happening here in California and Los Angeles to further urban natural resource sustainability, as well as our Fellows program, which does a highlighted number of areas that are also highlighted below in each of the topic areas. Oh, I jumped. Good question.
So that, in part, is looking at how to transmit science information. So we might look at, for example, citizen science and the excellent vehicle that that can provide in transmitting science information and help to bring people along. It's also in looking at the delivery of information and how it's used and processed and perceived. One of the studies that we funded through the RFP is looking at community-based information transmission from a social marketing perspective, and Edith de Guzman with Tree People is heading up that project, just as another example of the science of science delivery. And so if you're curious about that, we can talk about it a little bit more, but basically it looks at how you transmit science information in an effective way so that it's usable by your target audiences and picked up more broadly.
Thanks, Pat. Perfect. We have some partners here with the LA Urban Center. Please raise your hands right in the back there. There we go. They're going to be handing out stickers, a couple of stickers. And so for the first round of activities, I'm going to ask you all to first get stickers and then stand up. And half of this group, because we wanted to divide you up a little bit and not be so squished when you're looking at it, these same set of posters are on the other side over by the exhibit area. So I'm going to ask everyone from here over to kind of go over there and look at those posters and use your priority stickers to put next to the topic areas or ideas that you think are most important. All right, so thank you everybody for participating in the first round. After looking at both of the sessions, I think there's some clear and emerging themes and priorities that you guys have selected. One of them, it's interesting because we did this same exercise a year ago.
Thank you.
And the priorities have kind of shifted. Or maybe we're meeting those needs and demands perhaps in that area and we're moving to a different area. Either way, I'm really excited about where the priorities are. It is very clear, at least looking at it, that the environmental justice as it relates to species selection and capacity, as it relates to green infrastructure, pardon?
Why are they moving the posters right now?
Oh, let them do it.
Okay.
Rachel and Liz are moving over the posters right now from the other side. And so you can kind of see that on both sides there was a mirror in what you thought was a priority. Also, another emerging theme was forest health as it relates to rapid responses, information needs, and new and emerging pests. That seems to be a number of different other topics. Pat, do you have anything to add about new and what you saw and what people were asking you?
There's quite a bit on the posters from the other side on environmental justice. And in our group, we also saw a tendency to want to combine things together. So recognize that also these topics can be blended in an area of inquiry as well as in information transfer.
Sure.
So don't feel like these are siloed and things can't cross-pollinate.
Great, thank you. And I would say one other thing that emerged was those topics that were high in priority also managed to transfer over to the science of science delivery, which is a key part of what we're trying to do, which is not only provide research hub, but an information hub in a format that works best for you. All right, so kind of given those three highlighted areas that I just mentioned, it seems to be emerging is the ones with the highest sticky notes, which seems to be the forest health, the climate change, and the science of science delivery across all of them. Let's hone in on those three boards for just a moment. And I'm going to ask you a second question. Maybe. Neat. Maybe not.
I'm trying to advance the slides.
Yeah, it's not working.
We're frozen in time.
We're done? No. Try now. Aha! Part 2. First verse, second verse, same as the first. All right. So we did a little bit of a sticky exercise. You guys are very good at providing kind of these highlighted topic areas. As I mentioned, there's kind of three areas that seem to be getting a lot of attention, which makes sense given kind of the number of questions that came out in this conference along those topics. I'm going to ask you to look at those topics in particular and ask yourself, what kind of capacity can you help with your organization to provide support to answer and work on these questions? Because in the LA Urban Center, it's not just us, it's a team of all of our partners. And without kind of figuring out that necessary key partners we need to reach out to for information, we won't be able to answer the question fully and as completely as we need to.
So part of this is about things that you're already working on, so helping to increase our awareness of capacity that already exists within the room. So if you have an investment that's already unfolding or recent findings that we might not be aware of, if you could capture those on one of the Post-it notes and add it to one of the posters, that would be very helpful. In addition, if you have something you can bring into the table in terms of capacity, you have a research team that's interested in that topic, or an applied group, or you have connections that are working on a particular topic, or you'd like to come to the table and help out. Any of those scenarios fits. We have a convening role in the LA Urban Center of bringing people together, right? Leveraging shared capacity. So that's what this phase of the exercise is about. It's not just about what LA Center would sponsor, but it's what we bring together to work on these important issues.
All right. So once again, my friends that were handing out stickers will be handing out multiple sticky notes, as many as you like this time, to provide capacity and support. Oh, they're looking at me again like, oh no. But it's round 2. So if you could raise your hands again, who were providing the sticky notes so everybody knows where you're going. David Haas, Elizabeth Hundegi, and Rachel O'Leary, who is right over
Rachel.
here. So we have 10 minutes again. If everybody could just stand up and go, everybody now can go to the back, just this one area. We prioritized it, given the space, and provide that capacity and support. Thank you. So some general trends that we saw. As I said, I think there's 3 priority areas that seem to have a lot of attention across both sides that came in together for the second round. But what we found was what was connecting them all actually connected them to climate change, to green infrastructure, and in particularly the science of science delivery. And it seems like we really have a lot of capacity in trying to understand what that message is to our target audience, but we're having a hard time translating some of those research demands into those information deliverables. So it's something that I teased out of some of the work and capacity that we do have quite a bit in science delivery, and we have a little ways to go in doing the research to help inform that. Other thoughts, Pat?
Well, I think the discussion doesn't stop here. So if you would, please remember to stay in touch with the LA Center and let us know of other ideas that you come up with. So we talk about how you'd like to get information generated, but we also want to know when you're generating information. So as you have reports come out, new publications come out, new efforts emerging, please be in touch with us. Contact Chris Fabro if you would, and make him aware, or Miranda or myself, so that we can help share that research among our community and demonstrate our increased capacity in that way as well.
Yeah, so I mean, the final part, which sort of actually got answered by the science of science delivery, is talking again about priority areas for us to target this information dissemination. We listen. Last year, we heard website, hot topic meetings, in person. We did those. We're working on the website update right now to make it a more usable portal for all of our partners and making it easy for you to share that information on your own websites and with your own partners and your public and audience. But if we're missing something that's really, really, really important, you need to let us know, and we'll work to include it into our framework for upcoming RFPs this year. So I invite you to throw questions at us if you want, or start a dialogue about how you want this information generated and getting to you that maybe didn't come out of the science and science delivery boards. That's it.